Leadership is not, and has never been, merely an action or a role that an individual plays in an organization, community, or business. At least, not for effective leaders. The truth is that leadership is a mindset, an operating philosophy that guides decisions and inspires others to follow suit. A business leadership can shape and define its culture, empower its teams, and be the deciding factor between success or failure in the competitive markets of today. As the founder of OTC Global Holdings, Javier Loya understands this well. Loya is an entrepreneur, investor, and business builder who has built his career around creating opportunity through ownership, innovation, and relentless execution. He serves as the chairman of GETCHOICE, a technology-driven platform that provides visibility and control over energy, telecom, and utility expenses to organizations, and as a minority owner of the Houston Texans, both ventures that highlight Loya's belief that entrepreneurship is one of the most powerful forces for creating opportunity. Since launching OTC Global Holdings in 2007 and growing it into the world's largest independent interdealer commodity brokerage, Loya successfully led the company through its sale to BGC Partners. Following that milestone, he stepped away to focus on new ventures, including his work with GETCHOICE, the NFL's Houston Texans, and a range of philanthropic initiatives. Drawing from his experience building companies, navigating uncertainty, and leading through periods of growth and transformation, Loya now shares his insights as a speaker, offering guidance to entrepreneurs across the country. At the center of his message is the philosophy he developed throughout his career, rooted in a deep commitment to an ownership mindset. "I grew up in a Mexican-American family where hard work and ownership weren't abstract ideas, they were survival tools," Loya says. "My parents believed deeply in building something of your own rather than waiting for opportunity to arrive. That mindset stuck with me." Javier Loya, like any successful leader, has his share of mentors and inspiring figures that have shaped his career, and thus his leadership philosophy. The primary shared trait of these business role models was that they all build something extraordinary from humble beginnings. Leaders like Sam Walton, for example, the man behind Walmart, combined vision with relentless operational discipline to create something lasting and market-defining. "What inspires me most about those leaders is their long-term thinking," Loya explains. "They understood that building something great requires patience, resilience, and a commitment to continuous improvement. That philosophy has influenced how I approach every venture I've been part of." Given his role models, what kind of leader has Javier Loya become over his career? What is his leadership philosophy? Both personally and professionally, Loya's philosophy is defined by 4 core principles, each shaped by his experiences and his background: integrity, resilience, opportunity, and ownership. The first 2 largely explain themselves. In commodities markets, and business in general, trust is everything. Billions of dollars can move based purely on relationships and credibility, and when those movements do, or don't, happen, leaders have to be able to adapt to changes in the market or industry. In Loya's own words, the ability to adapt is one of the most valuable traits an entrepreneur can develop. Opportunity and ownership may require further explanation. Regarding the former, Loya has long believed that one of the most rewarding aspects of building companies is creating opportunity for others, whether they be employees, partners, and communities. The principle is one of connection and empowerment, whether it's a young professional building a career, or a fan experiencing the excitement of a Texans game. Building organizations that bring people together and elevate others. Ownership is the final value, and a core aspect of Loya's philosophy. Ownership means taking pride and responsibility for the work done, staking one's own pride on the project, company, or team. As a leader, fostering ownership in the workplace looks like giving employees both authority over and responsibility for their work. Unsurprisingly, it is tied to empowerment and accountability. He believes that people perform at their best when they feel true ownership in or over what they're building. Of all of these values, ownership is the one that's had the greatest positive impact on the culture at Loya's companies. "At OTC Global, we empowered teams to make decisions," he says. At GETCHOICE, that same philosophy drives how we innovate and serve clients. Many individuals who started with us early in their careers went on to become industry leaders themselves. Looking at the evolution of Javier Loya's career, it's clear that his leadership philosophy delivers results. Across multiple ventures, he has consistently built organizations that extend beyond business alone, creating ecosystems of people, partnerships, and opportunity. Today, That same mindset is reflected in his work with GETCHOICE, where the vision remains simple but ambitious: to build platforms that drive efficiency, transparency, and innovation within their industries. This success is rooted in Loya's values and approach to leadership. Rather than following traditional playbooks, he has continuously challenged the status quo, embracing new ways of thinking in order to compete, grow, and lead at a high level. "We realized we couldn't win by doing things the traditional way," Loya recalls. "We had to innovate faster and empower our team more aggressively. That decision shaped the culture of OTC Global Holdings, one built around ownership, innovation, and adaptability." Investing in people and building a culture of ownership was crucial for the company's success, as was resiliency. Some of the toughest periods the company endured in its early days set the foundation for its most valuable learning experiences later. Loya would take these lessons afield with future ventures, including GETCHOICE, which transformed utility management from a back-office administrative function into a massive opportunity to use technology and strategy to control billions of dollars in spending. Today, companies face incredibly complex energy and utility challenges, and technology-driven solutions can unlock tremendous value, he explains. Helping organizations gain control over those costs and make smarter decisions has enormous impact. Javier Loya's leadership experience has already proven its efficacy through the success of his businesses, but are financial metrics alone enough to call his philosophy successful? Loya says no, true success isn't defined by one-dimensional metrics. Success is defined by two metrics, impact and longevity, and measured by a single question: did he build something meaningful that lasts? If he's built an organization that creates value, inspires people, and endures over time, then the answer is yes.